Students are sent to learning institutions to learn and to grow. Two people coming from totally different backgrounds come together, form a family, and they learn and grow. Two differences, so to speak. To help us understand learning to grow is a lovely couple here sitting with us in this very lovely and cozy living room. But before we introduce them, allow me to usher in this glowing lady to tell us who is with us today in this house.
Hi viewer, once again welcome very much for this program. We want to invite you in a special way that you may flow with us and understand some things that are very necessary for the family. With us we have our own friends, always with us on set, Mr. and Mrs. Richard. So they will introduce themselves and greet us in a special way.
Thank you so much for having us in your house.
Karibu.
I am so happy to be here. My name is Tabitha Ouma, and I'm glad to have my husband, Richard.
Thank you, Tabitha.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. You're all welcome.
Our guests today are one of our best friends, the Oduks. 10 years in marriage. We want also to invite them in a special way so that they can talk, you hear their voice. Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting us to the show. We really appreciate it. My name is Peter Oduk, and I am with my beautiful wife. You can just see.
Yeah.
Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi viewers, my name is Tabitha Kariuki. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Tabby and Peter, for joining us. And of course, Tabby and Richard for joining us. We have two Tabbies, a tale of two Tabbies in the house. So we are talking about learning to grow. Two very powerful words, learning and grow. In my understanding, learning is a process of acquiring knowledge. Growth is the process of now utilizing that knowledge that you have learned. Peter, you have this background in social science. What is learning?
Learning is the continuous acquisition of knowledge, information, so that you can be better in different aspects of life. Yeah.
Continuous acquisition of knowledge so that you can be better in different aspects of life. Yeah. We will come to now breaking it down to aspects of life. Richard, growth or grow.
Yes.
Yes. I know when we talk about growth, what comes very fast into our minds is a plant. You plant maize, and then after how many months? 3 months?
Yeah.
It has grown.
Yeah, it has
so
grown.
what is that process?
In some cases, you harvest after 3 months. There are those that are growing, and they just grow. Yes. But here we are talking about growth in respect to families, respect to ourselves. We have learned each other in our marriage, but we keep on learning about ourselves because every new day has got its new things. And we change in the process, and we learn to learn each other. I'm talking of learning to learn, and then learning from what we have learned, which therefore is what I feel, and I call knowledge. Yes. Okay. So there's growth. From where we were, we have expanded our knowledge, and we are therefore better than where we started. Growth is for the better. Just as Peter was saying, you know, you learn, it's a process, but you learn from one point, go to the next, and by that, you actually open your mind to a lot of knowledge.
Okay.
And if I can add something, like in the ancient time in the Bible, you see the Israelites, they kept on learning, and when you don't get a point in God's eyes, He'll repeatedly keep on giving you the same lesson until you understand. So when you learn a point, you can be able to maybe overcome another challenge that is ahead of you, that is much greater than this other one.
Growth is fun. Growth is interesting. When a baby is born, after a few days you see the baby doing something different. After a month or two, you know, there's always something. Some growth comes with pain, you know. So even in marriage, for instance, when you grow, you celebrate each and every growth. Yes, and that is when there's some fun. Yeah. So growth is good.
Yes, Tabi.
Maybe just to add on it, when it comes to marriage, learning is a process. You learn and learn and relearn. Every step of the way is a learning process. Yeah.
You learn, unlearn, relearn. So today we are going to focus mostly on learning and growth. Can two people with different upbringing grow together? Because now, you know, we've brought it back to the context of marriage. Two people from different upbringings. How do they learn to grow? What is the first step? Or take us through the process.
Now, two people definitely from different backgrounds, right? They definitely can grow together because if they have a goal, what is their goal? Get married. What then, after getting married, is there going to be something else after that? That's why I talked about growth. So when they have a goal, for instance, when you go to school, when you're in high school, you want to go up to
the university,
which is the highest level. For example, just in high school, maybe up to Form 4. Yeah, your main goal is to pass and go to. Yes, here you're different people coming together, but you have one goal. So if you're just two and you have come from different backgrounds, you have been born, you have grown up eating a lot of sweet potatoes and uji, that is porridge in the morning, and this other person takes maybe food, like, okay, they're all food, takes maybe ugali, that is cornmeal, and maybe and maybe cabbages, you know. So you want to bring these two people together, or you want to bring this other person together and decide, you know what, we are going to be eating cereal for breakfast. Yes, it takes learning, and then when you introduce this slowly, you don't just wake up and decide, hey, what, Peter, you know what, where I come from, we used to eat mixed corn and beans in the morning. You have to eat it. Well, Peter grew up eating fish and
sweet potatoes.
I'm giving an example. So it's just a process. You start by doing it slowly. You can start by eating it yourself so that your husband can see, and your husband probably might be like, this can't happen. But with time, you learn and you grow, and you find yourself eating that.
Yeah, you...
one thing about learning is that you should be ready to learn. If you get someone who is adamant can't learn, then things get difficult.
Can't learn.
So you need to have the spirit of yearning to learn. Yeah.
Do we have people who they don't want to learn? I mean, can't learn, won't learn, the spirit that she's talking about. Because I want to believe that when the two of you got married, even before the marriage bit, you started knowing something, and that process of knowing someone is learning. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. First of all, being that I came from another tribe, you know, intercultural marriages has not been embraced fully by the community. So coming and starting to learn what Oduk likes and what I used to like when I was at my mom's place, it wasn't easy. So it was for us to come together, agree on a common ground that we will do things that will have minimal conflict and will help us stay together as a family. So it wasn't easy, but we learned, and we learned up to date. We are coming to a level whereby I know what he likes most, he knows what I like most, and we are now at a common level whereby we embrace each other and we've learned to love each other more and more.
Yes, Peter.
Maybe I think life would be very boring to live with a person who you completely have the same background.
Wow.
And you see, the first instance is to get to understand yourself. You know, this learning process should begin by learning yourself when you're entering into a marriage relationship, so that you know, who am I? What do I like? So that if you're having a conversation about learning each other, then you already know what you like and what you don't like. So when you put it in the table, the other partner who is from very far, like my wife, would start to understand, this is what my husband is, and the two of you now can come into a conversation where you have more or less, not completely eliminating conflicts or eliminating learning opportunities, but ensuring that each learning opportunity moves you one step in your marriage. Thank you.
Just to confirm to our viewer that even our wives come from far.
I think everything we bring into marriage is new to the other person who has not lived with you, because we come from different backgrounds. I, for example, grew up in Mombasa. That's where I was born. And Tabitha was born in Nairobi. And the backgrounds we had, even
You were born in two different cities.
Two different cities.
Yes.
There was a culture which I grew up in, which is different from the common culture of my tribe. You know, so simple things, what may seem to be very simple, may not be very simple. I've spoken of, you know, what we had at home, in our house, that is. There are ways of her cooking which I just had to embrace and learn and get to know that this is how she does it. While I grew up taking those same meals, but which were prepared
in a
differently.
different way.
Yes. A very simple and quick example is how we do rice in our house. I grew up eating every time coconut cooked rice. But she wasn't doing that because she's a mistress of the house and the kitchen for that matter. She goes her way. And it took me time to get to accept that, you know. By the way, her rice is very good. I think it's the best. I know it is the best. But, you know, these are little things, but you become tolerant. You get to learn. You get to know the personality and how they do their things. And you grow together with that. Yes, you grow together with that.
Yeah, there are some instances where learning is tough, as she says, but there are others where you simply just take it in and that's it. You've learned it.
Depends with the learner.
It depends with the learner. It also depends. There is a lot that goes around that.
Speech, attitude.
Yes.
There are many.
Yes. For example, if I'm used to, you know, I come from in the arid and semi-arid area where water is gold. And then I get married to this lady and we stay from the lake.
Yes.
And she insists that you must take a shower twice a day. I mean, to me, that is water being wasted. To direct it to some form of irrigation. Do you have stories like that? Because that is something that I'm still trying to learn.
Struggling.
Sorry?
You're struggling with it.
Of course, I'm struggling. and Richard has also talked about rice, mahamri,
chapati. It's okay these days, come on.
Peter, do you have something that you're still trying to learn?
Absolutely. Like we said, this learning is continuous. I mean, even something that you have learned today and accepted, because of your upbringing and your culture, a few months down the line, you still feel, really, did I accept this? It should not have been this. So the things that I'm still learning, I'm struggling with. Most of the things is how our mothers did things, especially for men. What your mother did, you really feel and cherish it as something that used to happen. So one particular thing that I'm struggling with, of course, it's something that is, like Richard said, something looking very simple, but really can really bring havoc. Is my wife, when she prepares food, she likes to, the food has to be consumed instantly, that particular moment. But I was brought up in a way that hata kama ni kidogo,
You have to say.
there must be something left there. So even for me, even when I go to the bathroom, for instance, if there is no shower and I'm using maji, kama ni kibuyu, I would want to leave a bit of it. With that.
You have the
So it's a
problem of
simple
leaving
thing.
something.
Very simple, but it has taken me 10 years to really accept it the way it is, because that is how she was brought up. So you get to a point to understand that, is this thing something worth causing havoc in our marriage? Is it something worth bringing issues? Because if it does not affect you deeply, and it's something that is not affecting the family in a huge way, I think we need to understand that some things are not hard to shed, as long as they don't hurt the marriage. Let life be lived. So it's what we call live and let live.
Exactly.
Some things are not very hard to let go. Others are hard
But you
to let go.
learn to let.
But you learn
To let go.
to let go.
Yeah.
Spiritual growth in a family.
Yes.
One person is weak, the other one is strong. How do we bring this weak one?
I think from my personal experience, I was born a Christian, but when I got married to Richard, I found he had a different lifestyle. This guy would read, sit and read and write notes. It's not like he has an exam, no. That was just his way of passing time. He gets a book and there's always a paper and pen. But me, on the other side, I'd love to sleep, and I also love to watch movies. So with time, of course, by doing that, you'd think that maybe I would sit and also start reading. No. But we started doing devotion and just encouraging me. I was one person who would not even do a 2-minute prayer. Just how, But, I would listen to how he was praying. I'm confessing. I would listen to how he's praying, and I would also do that in my private time, I was not that person who would also do like a private prayer. Hey, God has blessed me. I mean, don't judge me, but that was my journey. Yeah. So I started looking up to Richard without him knowing. And I started, praying, but he would help me out, guide me, started introducing me to books. But I would not even finish. The smallest book, like Steps to Christ, how do I even finish it? I thought he didn't even have a life. But he taught me, and I started growing. I'm not yet there yet, but I know I'm not where I was. So we can influence our spouses positively by what we do. If he, okay.
May I just report that she's better than me now.
Oh.
When it comes to reading. This lady wakes up at 5 in the morning and starts reading while I'm still in bed. So, it touches, it goes there. It rubs, to be honest. And this is part of how we grow. This is part of how we grow. I'm sure you can now, and everybody knows here and everywhere probably, that you can now hold a prayer for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, I thank God for that, yeah.
Yes. But you are stronger than me now, because you are very strong in devotion. She would be ready for devotion. She has introduced this book to be read before we start praying. She wants us to sing a song. I wasn't doing that before. I would just take time and say, okay, let's pray. And we do the prayer. Morning and evening, morning and evening. Now our devotion has grown because I've learned from her. While I was doing that, she saw it as a practice on me. She has grown with it, she has learned, but she has even made it better now.
Thank God for that.
And again, what happens when God initiated marriage, his intention was to bring each other, uplift one another spiritually. That's the intention of God from the beginning. So when he puts us together, it's like we are in a car, there's a driver and a co-driver. Once the driver is tired, the co-driver can help. That's what happens in a marriage. It will reach a time, not all of you will be down. That's how God, there's a way God has designed it.
Complement one another.
So when one is down, the other one uplifts the one who is down. And at times you can be up, situation changes, challenges come, and a lot of things happen. But there's that balance of one person lifting the other one. Yeah.
Okay, just to add on what Tabitha said, I think when I got married, my first few months when I got married, I met this young man. He used to tell me he's an Adventist, but I don't know where he used to go to his church. I've never known where his church was up to date. But he used to tell me he was an Adventist. I don't know. No, even at home. Do you used to go to church at home? I doubt so.
So he was born an Adventist?
No, it was at their home. They're not Adventists.
Okay.
So Peter just got Adventism on his life. So when I got married to him, Peter used to tell me that, Tabi, I'm an Adventist. Fine. Me, when I was a young girl, I really wanted to get married to an Adventist. Because I used to admire when I saw Adventists going to church, how they used to walk to church with 3 books, and I was like, okay, fine.
Were you born an Adventist?
No, I wasn't born. I was a staunch Anglican. And so I used to tell myself that one day in life, God will bless me with an Adventist man who will marry me. So when
God answered your prayer.
God answered my prayer. So when
Did
I
you
met,
say thank you?
all the time. So one time when I met Peter and he was an Adventist, I just said this is an answered prayer.
Wow.
And I really had to work hard towards that line. So when I met him, Peter never used to go to church, and it wasn't easy for us. Every time I would tell Peter to wake up and pray, he never used to take it positively. Then on Saturdays when Peter used to go to work. So pole pole, we started learning and doing our devotion. I used to pray, and Peter pole pole again, he started joining me every time I would pray. He would also pray. Pole pole, we are where we are today, and I can confess to the viewers that Peter is stronger than me.
Amen.
Maybe before you, what my wife is saying is very true, and I think I don't know who I would have turned out to be if it was not for her, because I remember the first incidences when she would ask us to pray. I would say, why would you wake up at 3 to pray? You can wake up at 8 and just do the prayer. And I was really a hands-on person, so sometimes I get work to do and I just go. I don't really, because I was just very young in my faith. So I think the best kind of growth I think that anyone should aspire for is the spiritual one first, because it now leads you to so many other things. It opens up your eyes to what does God say about livelihood or entrepreneurship. What does God say about other aspects of your life? So I really appreciate her for moving me from where I was to here. And we would have conflicts, by the way, about who is praying. For instance, he asked me to pray, and I say, "Why? I prayed yesterday." So I think that growth is gradual, but once you know Christ, you should be working towards making closer relationship with him, because now if you do, the family will follow that particular angle.
I've said this, and I want to say it again, that a woman with a Bible in her hand is more powerful than 100 men with guns.
Wow.
Yeah, very true.
Women have a way of doing their things. This lady here, when she notices that I'm growing, I'm gaining weight, she will start morning exercises. And it goes without saying that I will join her. And get to a point where now she stops and I still continue. Paka nirudi ile form. I don't know whether you do that. It is inbuilt ama unafanya tu. I don't know, maybe you can tell us. Or you've never noticed. You know, sometimes these guys do things but they don't.
But I've never noticed.
Yeah. And that is growth. There is also another powerful statement. This is just for me. I didn't read it anywhere. If you want to know the strength of a woman, put a wallet in her hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
In argument.
Yes.
I am in a serious
So
argument.
we also learn financially.
Yes.
Talk to us about financial growth.
I don't know whether it's a manly thing, but I am today convinced that put finances in the hands of a woman, and you'll see every shilling stretched to its limit. Yes, when it is in a man's hands, it's bound to just go. You probably may not do a good account of the money, the finances, meaningfully meaning many times, I don't know what happens, but we are kind of very kind with our monies, very kind with our monies, which is not so well with ladies, but then they look more into the family than we look into the family.
Yeah, you said that when we were just about to come for this. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
They are also derailers.
Yeah, they are.
Slow learners. How do we help them? We are coming back to help us understand slow learners. Don't go away. In learning institutions, there are times when the learners or students are subjected to exams. That is where you know where the cream lies. But they say regardless of the size or shape of the vessel, the cream is always at the top. What about what is at the bottom? Just before we went for this break, we were talking about a woman with a wallet in her hand and the finances, and then I introduced the slow learners because we are learning to grow. But there is someone, ashiki, a party, but we haven't exhausted the finances, then we come back to the derailers. Who would want to talk about finances? Who learned better than the other, or rather, who learned from the other in terms of finances?
Right. I think finances is one of those areas that are very emotive, and it is one of those areas that can really also bring a lot of issues. So in our experience, I think every one of us has their own challenges. Like for instance, myself, whenever I get money, what we had thought about, I do it. Then I go into a dry spell. So if we had discussed something that, okay, we will do this thing to kipata pesa, when I get it, it is done, and then we go into a dry season. So that is when I realized that when the woman has the money, it stretches longer than the man.
Yeah.
You would find that you have not had money for a long time, but you still find a way to eat because the wife is able to use the little coins, every coin. You know, for us, you call it to fundraising and you give big monies and funerals all over the place.
Yes.
But the lady has a way in which God gave them the wisdom to be able to account for every cent, not like us. So I appreciate that when we are really tough, when things are tough, you really find a solace, a way in which things can continue to run because of her financial wisdom. Yeah.
Okay.
Inbuilt.
You want to add something? I want to bring her on to tell us something about what we discussed this morning.
Okay, according to finances, you find that most of the time we are still learning. We haven't gotten to that level yet. But when we get money, we get to agree what's the priority at the moment. What should we do first? We might have discussed earlier that when we get money, we're going to do this. But at that moment when we get money, there's another pressing issue that needed that finances more than what we had agreed earlier. So we would rather do it that first, then whatever we had agreed might wait, or maybe we can see how we'll sit down as a couple, discuss on how we are going to spend the money. And every time we do that, we never go wrong. Anytime we discuss with him and say like, okay, Peter, we got this amount of money, we're going to do this and this and this, and then we'll put, or we might save this for the future. We've never ever gone wrong. So to everyone, my advice is, every time you get money, you can sit down with your spouse and discuss on how you're going to spend the money, and they'll never go wrong.
Something went wrong. They've never go wrong. Something went wrong. Ongea.
Niseme.
Sema.
Haya. Richard, why are you laughing? But today in the morning, I was not feeling well. I kept on turning in bed. Usingizi ilikuwa imepotea. Then I don't know, we just started talking with Dave. Then I brought up something up, and I told him, you know what? This story of finance, of late, you're not sharing with me how your finances are right now. Sina income generating like a salary, but I do my business. It brings money kidogo. Yeah, but him is now salaried, and of late amekuwa kiniacha out of the picture anyway. So money comes, he uses me. I don't have any copy. Na mimi si mtu napenda vitu mingi. Always keep quiet. But as long as some things are brought in, I don't bring it up. So today, I don't know what made me. I just told him, by the way, nowadays, you're not considerate. I don't know how much you're earning, how much you're spending, and I think he has regretted some things that he has been doing, but I brought it up to him, so I think he realized that kitambo he was sharing, but now as at now he didn't. So he even apologized and said, I think I think you did it unknowingly, ama you just assumed.
I drifted.
Yeah, he drifted. But I think those are the points that we always consider. People grow, people move, and we learn. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I wanted that to come out from her because, truth be told, reality hit me this morning. That was around some minutes before 5. And we just started talking, And this came out, and she brought it out so nicely. And I realized where the problem is. So when I brought in the story of the derailers, sometimes slow learners are not essentially stupid. They are just probably something has preoccupied their mind, right? So when we identify this is where the problem is and this is the cause of the problem, I'm not the problem, but we know where the problem is and the cause of the problem. But if you ask me how did I spend that money, I would tell you I don't know.
We many times fail to account for that money. I said when I was talking, sorry to interfere, what I was saying is that we are too kind. We're just too kind.
Yeah, by the way.
We can give out money at every little call or request. And eventually you don't know how to account for that money. Many times, probably she can attest to that. I sit and I say, and I call her Mama Shen. Mama Shen, I can't account for this money. What did I do with this money? And I struggle with that. Then I probably remember, I passed by my mom, I gave my mom this money. Yeah, that's where I went to, I gave this money to that person. Then I have to struggle to think about that. Yep. And eventually, when you look at the totality of the issue, is that you could have spent this money better than the way you spent it. So it's something that we have. I don't know whether we can talk of wires and how people are wired, but the truth is, we need to be better managers of money, especially women.
And if you are better, for instance, if you share your finances with your spouse, you will not even have so many problems. Your husband or your spouse will not expect so much from you. You know, if, for example, just the story that Linda just gave about the conversation that you guys had, Linda could be assuming that you're having $1 million in a month. Of course, I'm exaggerating.
I even mentioned it, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I even mentioned it.
Yes, you could be assuming that, hey, your husband is earning so much money, yet he's earning this much money. But if you are open with your spouse and your spouse knows, hey, this is what you are getting, you'll be more peaceful. And you'll be able to budget together.
And my next question would have been, how do we help in such situations, especially in the finances? And it has come out so clearly from the Oduks that when you sit down, you realize that you budget and you even have extra. We used to do that. It's only that there was that moment that I drifted. So again, how do we help people who tend to pull towards the other direction in their spiritual lives?
Oh, in their spiritual lives?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think maybe I mentioned it. I just touched it a little bit. Just a sense of whatever. In school, slow learners, what do the teachers do?
They do coaching.
Extra tuition, right?
Yeah, remedials.
Yeah? And the teachers are really patient to this. Yeah, probably the parents are paying some extra money, so hey, the student has to perform. So here, look at the extra whatever, like if you are patient with your spouse, you know we are all different. There is always that person who is visionary in a marriage. Yes, there's always that person who is seeing Bele. So if you are that person...
You can just mention it's the wife who normally sees Bele.
Well, not all cases. I would be lying to say all cases. Yeah,
we have like 99 points.
We have men who really are, you know. Yeah, and we also have women. So I think it's not all
a driver and a co-driver. At times it happens.
Points is just too high. But I think it's a general thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a general thing that finances within the family,
women
for
are
the
gifted.
family, are better managed by ladies or wives more than men. Because our thinking is not like theirs. They think
family.
Yeah.
You think.
We think individual.
You remember when we got married, I didn't even know how much Richard used to earn. He would come, get his pay, and of course he was really responsible. He is still responsible. He would do all the shopping, and then I think I didn't have a job back then. And he would give me some little money, you know. But in my heart of hearts, I'm like, I do not know this man. Because I do not know who I'm living with. He brings money, does shopping and everything. I don't know.
You equated me to your money, to my money.
No, not really. That was just me, yeah?
Yes, it's you. I just want to confirm. Because you weren't getting to know how much I was earning, so you are doubting if you know me.
Kinda,
right.
kinda. And those are little things that, those are the little things that, you know, bring...
I'm still the same person.
Let me finish. Okay. Those are the little things that bring misunderstandings in your home.
Yes,
you understand?
Yes,
but you realize that when you opened up to me and I opened up to you.
When I graduated.
You graduated, yeah? So I would be insane to think that Richard, you know, even if he has his extra money somewhere, but I would just be insane to put him down and say, hey, where is the money going to, you know?
So maybe I could, when you're talking about how to handle the slow learners, maybe you can get some wisdom from Hebrews 10:24, which says, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. You know, slow learners, if you handle them with love, we are being admonished here that love provokes good works. And when you're dealing with somebody with love, they tend to see your side of the issue better than if you are about logic and about facts. Love enables someone to ease off and says that if it is issues of finance, the way she's come to me is with a loving heart, and then I would tend to do good things. It would be crazy for someone to treat you with love and react with, what is the opposite of love? With hate, for instance. So if we treat these people among us, if for instance my wife has a weaker side in some matter, I should handle that with love. And we say love does not remember or point out mistakes. Love is very the greatest thing because it brings patience. So if it's a character or a behavior that she's been having for 5 years, I should still keep working on it. I should not give up on it and say, I've been trying this for 5 years and it's not working. Love enables you to be more patient with the other person and be able to correct them in a way that they tend to understand and tend to go in that general direction that helps both of you and the entire family to move and to grow in whatever direction you would want to do. So love covers everything.
In the same spirit.
Yeah, in the same spirit. Allow me to say something. In the book of Proverbs chapter 27 verse 17, it says, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So the other person can help you, can uplift the lowland.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Maybe just to add what my husband has said. You see, when you come together and start staying together, I understand him better than any other person. I believe so. Even more than the mom or either brothers or any other person who might maybe think that they know him. I think I know him better. So I can fit in his weaknesses, fit completely like this, that there's no space. And he can choose to fit in my weaknesses completely, that there will be no space, that when you look across, you can't see anything. So if he's a slow learner, or maybe if he learns things at a very low pace, I'm the one who should help him with love, with understanding, bearing in mind that he is mine, one of my own, the flesh of my flesh and the rib of my ribs.
You're making his head
so
big or small.
So in everything that he does, if I feel that Oduk has got a weakness in this area, I'm the one who can help him without anyone else knowing that Oduk had that weakness. I can walk with him through that journey to help him grow, to help him overcome whatever he thinks is a big problem to him. But because I love him and I want his weakness and his strength, then I must take in the weakness first, and then the strength will cover us and we'll be the best couple.
I think you have helped me understand what she meant. Now I know that when she meant that she didn't know me very well, this one now makes it very clear that now she knows me better than the way she knew, because she didn't know what I was getting.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to bring in another aspect of this emotional learning. Your spouse is sending signals. You know, there are these nonverbal communications. Lakini upati, ama uelewi, anatuma, but you don't get.
You can always change tactics.
That's cool.
Yeah, like you can use another, let me say, you can use another method to try and pass the same message. If he's not getting or seeing the signal, I believe you can use another way. And they can be able to understand.
Don't you just speak it? Huh?
That's the other way.
Some of us are very slow in that.
Sometimes speaking it, because I know she will not speak it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes speaking it will not be her thing.
Or it doesn't come with the force it needs to come when it's spoken.
For example, I come home with chocolates and flour.
Yes.
I hide these things. Then I go to the bedroom, I place them nicely on the bed. Then she comes, anafungua kitanda, anafungua duvet. She finds them, places them somewhere, and goes to sleep.
Removes them.
That's an example. I haven't said she does that. How do you help? How do you grow this? How do you nurture this so that emotionally, not just on that bit, but understanding someone when they're down. You learn to know that when Tabi is like this, I know this is how to go about it. Yes.
Yeah, I think when you grow together, you tend to understand the emotional points of each person. And it's something you have to invest your time in. You find couples, you find a spouse who really is easy to forgive, or they are quick to break down emotionally. And if you haven't learned that, you can push them to a limit where they just burst out. And because we are families and couples talking about our experiences, my wife is quick to get angry, but also very quick
To say so.
to let go.
Yeah.
I mean, just one word will enable her to calm down.
Which word is this?
But I mean, I'll share that later. But the thing is, once you understand the emotional
Aspect of the other
expectations of your partner, you need to take the extra mile and go towards that direction. Because when somebody has become emotional, no logic can bring them back to sanity. And you see men...
It's another emotion that will bring them back.
It's another emotion. Because men are more logical. They're saying, but 1 + 2 is 3. But then it says 1 + 1 is tears. So what do? You have to use the understanding of their emotions to bring them down, rather than going too illogical. Sometimes I find myself a bit tough, but I go back and realize, even if I went to tell her this, I'll have a good night. So sometimes we have to go the extra mile to ensure that we appeal to the emotions of the other person, because conflicts come, and if you stand on your own position, you can't get there. So you have to go stretch your hand to your partner, to find a better solution for them to calm down and for you to calm down.
True.
Yeah.
Wow, we are out of time. So, but Tabi, you have a contribution. Even as you do it, encourage someone who is probably saying that this is not possible. Encourage someone as you talk to our viewer.
Okay. First, I'll start by commenting on what Oduk said. His emotional intelligence is just on another level. He understands me better. He knows that when I break down, this is what he'll do, and I'll have to wipe my tears, hug him, and promise him that I'll never do whatever I do. Sometimes it takes longer than maybe he would want it to, but it will eventually come out. So I want to encourage our viewers this time that whatever you might be going through, however much the challenge might look bigger, learn your partner. Get to understand what he or she is going through. Then embrace your partner. In love or with love, get out of your way to make sure that your partner is happy.
Peter, in the same spirit, you can also encourage our viewer.
Yeah, what I want to say is that learning your partner is a continuous process. Never get to a point where you get so used to your spouse that you don't care about their emotional well-being or their spiritual well-being or their financial position. Because if you get to that level, then you're breaking the marriage. And as we know, marriage is meant to last until death do you part. So anything that is likely to create tension in your marriage, please try as much as you can to resolve it as soon as possible. Actually, don't go to sleep when you are angry. That is the golden advice. Sort things out. Life has to be sweet, and you have to make it sweet. And for something to be sweet, it has to be worked for.
Nice. For it to be sweet, it has to be worked for. Let me begin with Tabi.
This is really nice. This is a very nice topic that I've also learned personally. Growth has to be there, because when you grow, you see life differently. So dear viewer, I really don't know what you're going through, but I want to encourage you that pray together more, hold prayers together, and you're going to see a big difference in your family. So more prayer, more power.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dush?
Growth comes with pain at times, but at the end of the day, you'll enjoy the fruits. May God bless you in whatever situation you are in. It's never too late. It's never written off. God has his own way. Just come out, pray more, uplift the other person, and God will use you and bless everyone around you.
Richard, as you make a comment, just to ask, is it possible to grow holistically? Spiritually, mentally, financially?
It is very possible to grow. The three corners of life, spiritually, physically, mentally, they are all basically within the hands of the one who has the most power. And that is our God. And therefore, if we rely on him, we build around him, and with him, it's very possible that we can be successful in that. Our viewer, there is no curriculum about marriage. And that's why many times we say that this is an institution where we can never graduate from. But there is what I call an overview of what can make our marriages very successful. God, prayer, reliance on him, and always talking and reaching out between ourselves as couples. With that, we have success in front of us. And you can testify, as I normally say, my colleagues here know, that there is graduation in marriage.
Thank you so much. Dear viewer, it is possible that you will learn and never come to the end of that learning. Someone once said that marriage is the only institution where you receive your certificate even as you start your marriage. In the event that you're not able to sort it out between the two of you, please find a mentor. Find someone you can confide in so that you can sort it out. But above all, trust in God, because he is the author of this marriage. He will sort you out. He has sorted all of us out. So God bless you, and see you next time, same time. May he keep you. Bye.